Alex leaned back against the couch, phone pressed to his ear, waiting for Lucy to pick up. His heart pounded, unsure of how this conversation would go. When she finally answered, her voice, warm yet tired, washed over him. "Hi, babe," she said softly. "How was your day?" "Tiring," Alex admitted. "Yours?" "Same here," Lucy replied with a sigh. "What's up? You sound off." Alex hesitated, swallowing the lump in his throat. I wanted to ask you something. Hypothetically." Lucy chuckled faintly. "Hypothetically? Okay, hit me. If someone offered you $50,000 or $60,000 to marry them for 3 months, strictly a contract, no intimacy, would you do it?" There was silence. Then Lucy burst into laughter. "What? Alex, that's such a weird question. But, honestly, if you let me, I'd probably do it. That money could change my life." "Why? What brought this up?" Alex rubbed the back of his neck. "Because," he paused, unsure how to phrase it, "I got such an offer, and I'm considering taking it." This time, the silence was heavier, stretching uncomfortably between them. "That's why you asked me," Lucy said finally, her voice quieter now. "To test my reaction. You've already made up your mind, haven't you?" "No," Alex said quickly. "It's not like that. I just—" "Save it," Lucy interrupted. Her tone wasn't angry, but it carried a resigned edge. "I know how these things end in movies, Alex. Maybe you'll fall in love with her. Maybe she'll fall for you. Maybe you'll stay together." Alex shook his head, even though she couldn't see him. "That's not going to happen. I promise. We need this money, Lucy. This could set us up for life, pay off debts, start a business." Lucy exhaled deeply, cutting him off again. "And you think discussing something this big over the phone is okay?" Alex laughed nervously, trying to lighten the mood. "Does it matter how I bring it up? Thanks for understanding, babe. And during the marriage, we can still meet. I won't keep you lonely." Lucy didn't respond immediately. When she finally spoke, her voice was calm but distant. "I just pray nothing goes wrong, Alex. For both of us." After a few more exchanged words, they hung up, the conversation leaving Alex feeling equal parts relieved and uneasy. The moment the call ended, Alex stared at the card Juliana had given him, her name and number gleaming in gold. He hesitated, his finger hovering over the keypad. This was it, a decision that could change everything. Finally, he dialed. The phone rang twice before a confident, familiar voice answered. "Hello. It's Alex," he said, clearing his throat. "From the workshop." "Ah," Juliana replied, her tone laced with amusement. "I like your type, Alex. You don't waste time making life-changing decisions." "What if I'm calling to say no?" he countered. She laughed low and smooth. "If your answer was no, you wouldn't be calling. So, what's the deal?" Alex took a deep breath, his voice steady. $500,000. You pay me $10,000 every month, and at the end of 3 months, I get the remaining balance. There was a brief pause. Then Juliana said, "You're really smart, Alex. I respect that. Deal. I'll draft the contract and invite you over to sign it. Until then." Before Alex could respond, she hung up. He stared at the phone in disbelief. "She accepted," he whispered, his heart racing. "Oh my gosh, she accepted." Jumping off the couch, he let out a celebratory laugh. $500,000. Just for 3 months. He paced the room, his mind spinning with excitement. If I'd known she'd agree so easily, I would have asked for $1 million. What's she getting out of this? Whatever it is, it must be worth millions. Curiosity clawed at him. He grabbed his laptop and typed into the search bar, "Edward's Family Empire." When the results loaded, his jaw dropped. $2.6 billion, he muttered, staring at the screen. Article after article detailed the family's sprawling wealth in cargo logistics, real estate, and other investments. Maybe they're forcing her to get married, Alex mused aloud. Maybe she needs this to secure shares in the company. The realization sent a chill through him. "Wow," he murmured. "I pray she doesn't change her mind. This This could change everything for me. Yet, as the excitement surged, a small voice at the back of his mind whispered, "What if Lucy's right? What if things don't go the way you think?" Alex pushed the thought aside. This wasn't a movie. It was real life, and he had a deal to make. 3 days later, Alex's phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. The text was brief and commanding. "Meet me at my house, 4 p.m. sharp. Don't be late." He didn't need to guess who it was. At 3:45 p.m., Alex stood outside Juliana's sprawling mansion, the sheer scale of her wealth hitting him again. The gates opened as if on command, and he drove in, parking in front of the pristine white steps leading to the house. Inside, Juliana was already waiting in the living room, a thick file sitting on the glass coffee table in front of her. She was dressed in a sleek black jumpsuit, her confidence filling the room as she gestured for him to sit. "This is the contract," she said, sliding the file toward him. "Read it thoroughly. Ask questions if you need to." Alex flipped through the pages, scanning the formal language. The details were clear: 3 months, no intimacy, and $500,000 in total, with $10,000 paid each month and the rest at the end. As he read, his heart raced in jubilation. She was going through with it, even after he'd upped the price. "Do you need more time?" Juliana asked, her sharp eyes studying him like a hawk. Alex shook his head, hiding his excitement. "No, I'm good. I understand everything." Without hesitation, he grabbed the pen she offered and signed on the dotted line. Juliana leaned back, watching him with an unreadable expression. "One more thing," she said, her tone dropping slightly. "Nobody, and I mean nobody, is to know about the contract. They can know we're married, but not the terms behind it. Do you understand?" Alex hesitated briefly. "Technically, 2 people already know," he admitted. "My best friend, Jude, and my girlfriend, Lucy. But it's only because—" Juliana cut him off with a raised hand. Her voice was icy. "That's your business, not mine. But let me be very clear. If either of them snitches, you'll pay back every cent of the advance payment. And I will make sure their lives are miserable. Do you hear me?" Alex blinked, stunned. "Miserable? That's a bit harsh, don't you think?" Juliana leaned forward, her gaze cold. "Harsh? No. Realistic. I'll bury them in lawsuits. They'll spend half their lives going in and out of courtrooms. I have the resources, Alex. Don't test me." Alex opened his mouth to reply, but before he could get the words out, Juliana stood abruptly, turning toward the grand staircase. "Shut the door behind you," she said over her shoulder, already climbing the stairs. "Wait," Alex called out. "I'm still." But Juliana didn't stop. Her heels clicked against the marble steps, her back straight as she disappeared to the second floor. Moments later, a door slammed shut. Alex sat there for a moment, staring at the staircase. He shook his head, muttering under his breath, "Unbelievable." Grabbing his copy of the contract, he stood and left, the weight of the deal settling heavier on his shoulders with each step. As he climbed into his car, one thought echoed in his mind: what have I gotten myself into? After leaving Juliana's house, Alex drove aimlessly for a while, trying to process everything that had just happened. The weight of the contract sat heavy in his mind, but he pushed it aside, pulling into a quiet parking lot. He picked up his phone and stared at it for a moment before dialing Lucy's number. "Hi, babe," he said when she answered. "Hey, Alex," Lucy replied, her voice warm. "What are you doing?" "Not much. What about you?" "Just relaxing. It's the weekend, after all." "Perfect," Alex said, forcing a smile even though she couldn't see him. "Can we meet up? There's something I'd like to talk about." Lucy paused. "Sure. Just send me the address." In less than an hour, Lucy walked into the beautiful restaurant Alex had chosen. The ambience was elegant, with soft lighting and the quiet hum of classical music in the background. She glanced around and spotted Alex at a table near the window, looking slightly out of place but charming nonetheless. As she approached, she raised an eyebrow. "This restaurant looks expensive," she said. "Let's go somewhere cheaper." Alex stood and pulled out a chair for her, ignoring her comment. "Don't worry about it. I've already paid for everything. Besides, once in a lifetime, you deserve to enjoy yourself in a nice place like this. Lucy sighed but sat down, a small smile tugging at her lips. You're spoiling me, Alex. A waiter arrived with 2 glasses of wine. Alex raised his glass. To us, he said, and they clinked glasses before taking a sip. Lucy leaned back in her chair, studying him. Okay, so what's with the fancy dinner? What's the occasion? Alex shrugged, trying to play it cool. Do I need an occasion to take my girlfriend out? Lucy smirked. Stop pretending, Alex. My gut is telling me this isn't just a casual date. You signed that contract, didn't you? This might be our last meeting before you start your husband duties. Lower your voice, Alex said quickly, glancing around. I didn't sign anything, okay? And don't bring up the contract again. It's not safe. Lucy frowned, her voice dropping. Not safe? Alex, what have you gotten yourself into? Alex hesitated, staring at the table. Finally, he said, Promise me, Lucy. Promise you'll never talk about this to anyone again. It's for your own good. Lucy's eyes searched his face, concern etched into her features. Okay, fine. I promise. But are you sure you're okay? Before Alex could respond, his phone buzzed on the table. He glanced at the screen and froze. Juliana. His heart pounded as he looked around the restaurant, half expecting to see her walking in. She wasn't there. Who's that? Lucy asked, noticing his reaction. Why aren't you answering? Reluctantly, Alex picked up the phone and pressed it to his ear. Hello. Juliana's sharp voice cut through. Meet me outside the restaurant. Now. Alex felt a cold sweat forming on his back. What? Why? Are you here? Now, she snapped, and the line went dead. He looked at Lucy, trying to hide his panic. I'll be back in a minute. Stay here. Lucy narrowed her eyes. Who was that? What's going on? Just someone I need to talk to, Alex said quickly, already standing. I'll explain later, I promise. When Alex stepped outside, he spotted Juliana sitting in the back seat of a sleek black car, the door open. She looked at him with an expression that was equal parts annoyance and disdain. It took you ages to answer, she said coolly. I won't tolerate that kind of behavior again. Alex's confusion and frustration boiled over. What are you doing here? Are you stalking me? Juliana rolled her eyes. You need a doctor if you actually think that. And more importantly, why are you in a public restaurant with that thing? Alex's jaw clenched. You mean my girlfriend? Is that who you're calling a thing? She ignored his tone, her voice sharp and commanding. Shut your dirty mouth. Don't speak when I'm speaking. You signed a contract, Alex. The moment you put your name on that paper, our deal began. Do you want media to drag my name through the dirt? To use me as gossip fodder? You are not allowed to meet with women, any women, until our contract ends. Alex stared at her, stunned. Wait, what? That's ridiculous. I didn't see anything about that in the contract. Then you're dumber than I thought, Juliana said, leaning forward. It's all there. And if I see you close to her or any other woman, you'll pay me the $500,000 I'm supposed to pay you. ×2. Alex felt like the ground was slipping out from under him. This is insane, he said, his voice shaking. You can't seriously expect me to, driver, Juliana interrupted, ignoring him entirely. Take me out of here. I've lost my appetite. The car door shut, and the vehicle sped away, leaving Alex standing in the parking lot, his mind spinning. What have I done? He muttered, running a hand through his hair. Not even 3 hours, and this is what I'm dealing with. God, I should have read that contract more carefully. He glanced back at the restaurant, where Lucy was waiting for him. For the first time, the weight of what he'd agreed to truly hit him. He couldn't even tell her the truth. What have I gotten myself into? He whispered again, the sinking feeling in his chest growing heavier by the second. Alex slid into his car, his hands gripping the steering wheel tightly as his mind raced. He typed out a quick message to Lucy, his fingers trembling slightly. I'm sorry, baby. Something urgent came up, so I had to leave. I've sent you money to pay for the drinks. Order some food and enjoy yourself. Please, Don't call me, I'll be busy. See you later, dear. He hit send, took a deep breath, and started the car. Inside the restaurant, Lucy's phone buzzed. She read the message, her brows furrowing in confusion. Wait, what? She muttered, staring at the screen. You brought me out here, and now you're telling me you have an emergency? She immediately dialed Alex's number, her frustration growing with every unanswered ring. Oh, come on, Alex, she hissed under her breath. After several failed attempts, she sighed and flagged the waiter. Can I have the bill, please? The waiter nodded and returned with the check. Lucy paid for the drinks, ignoring the money Alex had sent, and walked out of the restaurant, shaking her head. As Alex drove down a quiet road, his phone buzzed on the passenger seat. He glanced at the screen. It was a message from Juliana. Meet me at my house in 30 minutes for further instructions. Alex frowned. Instructions? What now? He muttered, gripping the wheel. He hesitated for a moment, then made a sharp U-turn and headed toward Juliana's mansion. When he arrived, the house loomed large and intimidating in the dim evening light. He knocked on the heavy front door, and Juliana's voice called out from inside. Come in. Alex pushed the door open and stepped into the lavish living room. Juliana was sitting on a plush armchair, a glass of whiskey in her hand. She didn't even look at him. Do you know why people like me can drink whiskey any time we want? She asked, her voice smooth but laced with authority. Alex frowned, confused. What? Juliana swirled her glass and took a sip. It's because we have drivers. We don't need to worry about trivial things like driving ourselves. Alex stood there awkwardly, unsure of what to say. Juliana gestured toward the table in front of her without looking at him. See those papers? They're details about me that you'll need to know. The other set is for you to fill out. Your birthday, your siblings' birthdays, your parents' names, their birthdays, everything. Next week, I'll be introducing you to my family. Alex's stomach tightened. Introducing me? Yes, Juliana said, finally meeting his eyes. You'll be presented as my husband, a graduate with a first-class degree in mechanical engineering. I need you to maintain that status. I know you don't actually have a degree, but you have practical experience, so use that to keep up appearances. Be smart. Nothing must go wrong. Alex hesitated, his pulse quickening. And what if I say no? Juliana placed her glass down with a sharp clink and stood up, her gaze piercing. Do you think this is a game? Did you even read the contract you signed? There's no backing out, Alex. You're my husband now, whether you like it or not. I own you. You do what I say, or you pay me the full $500,000, times 2. Alex stared at her, his mind spinning. She wasn't just arrogant. She was terrifyingly in control. After a moment, he walked over to the table and picked up the papers. One more thing, Juliana said, sinking back into her chair and picking up her glass again. Since I'm paying you every month, you'll resign from your job. Starting next week, you'll move into this house. My secretary is already decorating your room with the clothes I've chosen for you. I'll need your sizes, which is why those details are important. When you move in, don't bring anything with you. Keep your car in your apartment. I'll provide everything you need. Alex stood frozen, the papers in his hands feeling heavier by the second. Move in, he asked weakly. Juliana took another sip of whiskey. You're dismissed now. Fill out the papers and leave them on the table before you go. She leaned back, her cold eyes watching him as he reluctantly sat down and began filling out the forms. Meanwhile, Lucy was fuming as she stepped out of a taxi in front of Alex's apartment. She rang the doorbell several times, but there was no answer. She tried calling him again, only to find that his phone was now switched off. Her frustration grew, and her heart sank. Something wasn't right. Desperate for answers, she called Alex's best friend, Jude. Hey, Jude, she said quickly. Is Alex with you? Jude sounded puzzled. No, I haven't seen him since earlier this week. Why? What's going on? Lucy sighed, biting her lip. I don't know. He's acting strange. If you hear from him, please let me know. Of course, Jude replied. I'll let you know if I do. Lucy hung up and stared at Alex's darkened apartment. Something was definitely wrong. but she couldn't put her finger on it. With no other options, she hailed another taxi and left, her mind swirling with questions and doubts. Back at Juliana's house, Alex finished filling out the forms, his mind heavy with everything he'd just heard. He placed the papers on the table and stood, his body tense. As he headed for the door, Juliana spoke without looking at him. "Remember, Alex, no mistakes. If you fail, you'll pay the price." Her voice sent chills down his spine. He opened the door, stepped into the night, and closed it behind him. Standing in the quiet darkness, Alex muttered to himself, "What the hell have I gotten myself into?" As he walked to his car, he will on his phone. It will start buzzing non-stop. It was a message from Lucy. "Alex, what's going on? I'm worried. Please call me." Alex stared at the message, guilt weighing him down. But before he could reply, Juliana's words rang in his ears, "No mistakes." He shoved the phone into his pocket and drove off, the weight of two worlds pulling him in opposite directions.